Hello YouTube community, my name is Andrew, better known as Super Duper Happy Time on YouTube and Super Happy Time on a lot of the Warhammer forums. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little unboxing of this Claws of the Wyrm Warband. And for me it will be part of my Spring Skirmish challenge for painters motivating painters. This box right here costs $33.84. The treasure chest came with another game. I bought it online for about it comes with another game. I bought it online for about $5. What I want to do is kind of talk about Super Dungeon Explorer as the arena version of Super Dungeon Explorer as a game before I get to the unboxing. So for those who have never heard of the game before, Super Dungeon Explorer is produced by Soda Pop Miniatures and Ninja Division. It's a chibi design kind of adventure role-playing dungeon explorer game. You usually play it. You can play it in a group. They have two different modes. There's classic mode, which pits the 3, 4, however many heroes against what is called the console, who plays as a bad guy or dungeon master. Or there is arcade mode, in which all the players play on the same team against the computer, a deck generated monster hunt. It's basically just kind of a group explore of a dungeon. And what the arena mode is you basically pick out a group of a hero and a group of monsters, and you go at one another. It's a kind of a one-on-one matchup. And what you need to play it is you need a warband, a mini boss for each of the players, a boo booty for each of the players, loot and treasure decks, which I believe are only found in Super Dungeon Explorer's box game, and then the dice counters, and then an arena playmat that are also found in the Super Dungeon Explorer, the original box game, which is known as First Edition, or the Forgotten King, which is currently the second edition of Super Dungeon Explorer. So you may be asking, what exactly is a warband when it comes to Super Dungeon Explorer? Because generally it's going to be monsters versus heroes. So a warband is a single hero and two spawning points. They can be either linked to, or if they're linked spawning points, which means that there's two spawning points that would spawn the same number of creatures in classic mode, or in arcade mode would spawn two different sets of creatures. Those will, or if it's a paired spawning point, it will be used together. Whereas if it's a single spawning point, you can use that in with another single spawning point. And then the last thing you need for a warband is a single treasure chest. Now, one of the other things that isn't included as part of a warband, which would be part of the Skirmish, Spring Skirmish challenge, is a mini boss that is present in this kit, but is not part of a warband. However, for all intents and purposes, because I'm building everything else in the group, in the warband, I'm going to include the mini boss along with it. Now, of course, the last part of the Spring Skirmish challenge is to have some amount of terrain piece. And the one thing with the Super Dungeon Explorer is that there isn't really any terrain piece, unless you want to count like the treasure chest or one of the other things. So my idea would be at this point to try to create an arena, or try to create the arena that they use in the Super Dungeon Explorer PvP arena. All of the guides for Super Dungeon Explorer, if you were curious, can be found online. However, the cards that are used for each of the models are not found online. However, I truly believe you need to go ahead and support this game and support this company. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and flip over the box here, and we can read along to see what the box contains before I go ahead and open it up. So it contains 15 assembled plastic models, which fits into the 10 to 20 ratio for the Spring Skirmish Challenge. We have a Dragon Blade hero. That's going to be this guy in gray here. a Sir Sharp Claw mini boss, which is a big guy in the back. 2 Claw Shrine spawning points. Those guys right here, or two of these right here. We're gonna have 2 Black Claw Assassins, which are these 2 guys, I believe. 3 Kobold Claw Trainers, 1, 2, 3, and 6 Drake Hounds, the 6 in front here. And then, of course, we'll have a Drake Kabam treasure card. There's always a treasure card that is kind of paired to whatever mini boss you may be, or mini boss you're going to be using. There's 6 for any bosses, but this isn't a pack with a boss. This is going to be a mini boss. And then 13 model game cards. And there's 2 different types of game cards. There are game cards for classic mode and game cards for arcade mode, along with the hero, which gets the same card for both modes. So now's kind of the time for the moment of truth, and I'm going to go ahead and open this box up. So, all the models for this game come pre-assembled. Sometimes what happens with a lot of the plastic, especially in the Forgotten King starter box, is that it can be a little bent at times. I'm going to try to back up a little bit from the screen to avoid a little bit too much pixelation. So here's our Dragon Blade hero. And of course, one of our assassins. Open the next box. The rest of these guys, and we'll go ahead and set the cards on down too. And this is what I mean when I say the plastic likes to bend. So that lance should be entirely straight, and as you can see, it is entirely curved, and that's maybe one of the biggest issues I've had with watching some of these plastics. And of course, the way you'd fix this is to put it under hot water for a while, get it heated up, bend it into position, and then hold it until it cools down. Otherwise, if you're trying to do it on its own, you'll probably end up snapping it off. But this is going to be our, let's see, what is his name? This is Sir Sharpclaw. Of course, he's writing him out, and I've been told from watching another unboxing video is that this is a very top-heavy model, which it intends to be, so I'm going to have to put something to hold it down on the back end. Let's see what else we have. This is a guy with, or this guy has an actual whip, which I believe he's a claw trainer, so he should be fine as is. There's our second of 2 assassins, and our third assassin should be in here as well. Another claw trainer, or no, we had only 2 assassins. So there's our 2 claw trainers. Our Drake Hounds, we have 6 of them. And of course, sometimes what happens is that you can see there are some pieces, because these are fully or pre-assembled models. There are some times where the model has the gluing process on the model hasn't worked precisely, so it's the part has fallen off. The Frog Knights one of the Frog Knights of mine in the Forgotten King starter set was very much like that. Again, there's another head, and that would be our spawning point, our Claw Shrine spawning point. We got 2 of those, and of course we got one more of the claw trainers. This is a, of course, you can see this guy completely lost his head. Hopefully I can show you that. And a lot of these will just snap back in the way they are. Not exactly sure why the glue wouldn't work. And of course, finally, we have the cards that go along with it. We'll try to open these without bending them or tearing them. So we have our Dragon Blade, who is actually a elf hero. Let's see if I can get that in. So the Dragon Blade, which is, he's actually an elf hero, even though he looks like a very koboldish creature. You have Sir Sharpclaw himself. Now he actually most of the mini bosses come with a hero version of the mini boss that you can use as a playable character as well. It's not quite as strong usually as the actual mini boss. If I go ahead and take out the arcade mode for Sir Sharpclaw, you see that there. He's got 7 hearts. He's got 5 hearts here because he's being controlled by a console, which is a little which is a actual human character or human who would know how to play the card correctly. And then you'd have 6 as a hero character. The bigger monsters usually are bigger heroes. See, next up we have our 2 claw shrines, and they will tell you what each of them will spawn, but because it is a paired spawning point, it's only going to spawn half of the models that are listed here. And of course the arcade mode as well, versions of these cards. And for arcade mode, things work a little differently than how they work in, we have classic mode, in which a human player controls all of these. So we have the claw trainers, or the claw trainers, the assassins, which are right here. Claw trainers I'll go ahead and put up here for now. Find the third one. There he is. And then we have all the little our Drake Hounds right here. Now, for each of the, each of these will have their own stat line that they use to attack. This guy here is a 16-bit character, which means he takes a little bit more, or it takes a little bit longer in the game before you're able to summon them to attack. Now, the last part is that there are also, when it comes to arcade mode, that these guys will operate in groups. The one group is called the Black Claws, which are the 2 assassins, and the other is the Blood Trackers, which are a combination of the Claw Trainers and Drake Hounds. And they have a elite, and one group will have an elite and what is called a minion. So these guys will be the minions of your trainers here. And basically your minions don't do anything other than kind of supply as a more of a health bar. Your elites are what you need to take down, and take down quickly. Otherwise they will do a lot more damage if they're in a gang as compared to when they're not in a gang with these minions. And then sometimes you have double elites, which is 2 elites in the same group. You're usually going after one or the other, but they do a lot more damage together as a team than they would separate. So, and finally, I have my Drake Kebab treasure card. Green dice are a little bit better than red or blue dice, which you may be seeing on a few of these other cards, such as down here in the classic mode cards and on the hero cards. Dice are what you roll. Blue die is they've got 6 sides to them. They're not exactly 1 through 6 dice, but the dice kind of range from blue to red to green, with green being the best dice. You're more likely to get 2 stars or 3 stars or 4 stars, which is how you determine attack. I'm gonna have to do a video on how to play this game, and maybe a playthrough before long, but this is what I have as my Warband. So 6 Drake Hounds, 2 Black Claw Assassins, 3 Claw Trainers, 2 spawning points, Sir Sharpclaw, and my my Dragon Blade. So this is what I have together for, and of course a treasure chest. And this is all I need to put together for a skirmish army. Now, as far as what I'm going with for as a terrain piece, that will have to come in a separate video at a later date. I'm looking to try to build something close to the arena in the arena guide, in the arena in the arena rulebook. I'll go ahead at the very end and link you to the original video that Vince Venturilla did for the Spring Skirmish Challenge. On there you can find the Painters Motivating Painters Google Plus page. And I'll go ahead and link you to sodapopminiatures.com, which is where this game is made, or where Super Dungeon Explorer, or the company who designed Super Dungeon Explorer, and they'll have a number of sites. I'll link as well to the PvP arena version of the game. So thanks for watching. Best of luck to the rest of you that may be participating in this Spring Skirmish Challenge. If this helps give you motivation for starting it, I'm glad to be a part of that. Thank you for watching the video, and please subscribe.